Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some pretty big PlayStation 6 news where a lot of leaks have now come out. Now, you guys may have seen throughout this week, we saw a little bit more details on the early upcoming console, where it was actually supposedly a lot smaller, which is a really big win for that, and as well a lot more focused internally on AI and ray tracing, and of course, well, we're just going to be seeing better specs regardless. Now, we usually have like a few years before like it actually is confirmed, but typically even for the PS5 Pro, PlayStation Slim, we knew information like a year or two in advance, because usually they want to work on the specs of it all, and then after they don't pretty much finalize it, they make a few testing consoles, and then they go and ship them on out to like, these AMD companies and these big facilitations to go and make the consoles themselves. Make a few million of them. That takes some time, and usually with that one, with testing, with sending them out to developers to go start making games, etc., it's kind of a long multi-year process. So right now is kind of where things are starting to ramp up, where it seems like we're finally getting the final shape of what the PlayStation 6 is going to turn on into. And of course, as well as kind of lines up, because apparently the 2027 release date window is still what people are expecting based on leaks. So you give like a 2-year window, kind of starts lining that up. So subscribe if you guys are new and appreciate these videos. Leave a like too as well. A lot of these are speculation, so please keep that in mind. And just overall, I appreciate y'all so much for watching in the first place. So we've been seeing articles, we've been seeing comments, we've been seeing stuff everywhere where we're now seeing the PlayStation 6 leaks. One of the bigger things out here is that ray tracing is now up to 12 times stronger than the current PlayStation 5, and as well, everyone is actually somewhat surprised when it comes to the overall specs coming out from the console itself. So the rumors about the PS6 and its performance have now been circulating for the past few months. We've been trying to cover this as we see news in the channel. A lot of it is kind of speculation, some of it hopeful thinking, some of it legitimate. So like always keep on bear these in mind, kind of take it more on the entertainment purposes side. But once again, when we had like Switch 2 leaks we cover on the channel, you guys, all my subscribers remember, that was pretty much spot on. Like the PS5 Slim stuff, spot on. PS5 Pro, pretty much spot on. And it seems nice. Now, also, if you guys missed it, the PS6 does apparently have a detachable disk drive too as well, kind of similar to the current PS5 generation, and it's not going to be a only digital console, which is a major win. So most recently what was reported on was improving the ray tracing performance over the PlayStation 5, which is the current generation. Specific rumors about ray tracing performance have indeed appeared before. However, the details now come from what is said to be a complete leak specification. So this might be like the big bread and butter. We might have a few more videos as they kind of fine tune and more stuff comes out. So keep in mind, they were still years before the launch of the PS6, and so these details may change considering how much time is left between now and the official release of the next console. Based on the latest rumors from Moore's Law's Dead on YouTube, PS6 seems to be a very strong console. Many factors will contribute to this, but one of the factors is the improvement made by Sony and AMD over the ray tracing performance. Now, on most of these videos, we highlight a lot that AMD has a specific partnership with PlayStation to go and improve the PSSR, and AMD is currently working on its own AI integration. Like they're probably one of the only companies able to somewhat compete with NVIDIA as of this current second. We're seeing other companies like IBM and other, Intels, which are still slogging, but they're realizing the importance of AI capabilities, data centers, etc. If you guys ever watch my channel, some of my bigger investments I've actually mentioned by name on the channel, Iron, Cypher, and some like Wolf are all big AI hosting companies. And typically the better and longer form AI they have with machine learning makes the overall process better. And that's kind of what's going on right now with ray tracing and why it's going to be such a great improvement on the PS6. Every PS5 Pro right now utilizing PSSR will make the PS6 even better. This is giving them millions upon millions of people in game data and all of this. So originally rumored to be around 5 or 10 times better than the basic PS5, Moore's Law now believes that it will be slightly even higher. Specifically, the performance of ray tracing on PS6 should be a 6x or to 12x better than the PS5. So I think those are just like separate optics too as well, but either way, it's just kind of a weird way to explain it. But it's gonna be better. It's like an overall like a larger improvement than even the initial leaks is maybe better wording for it. So I'd imagine what it'll look like or whether performance will increase that much. The important thing is that improving the performance of ray tracing is not the only thing that needs to be improved. So the overall performance of the PS6 is significantly above the PS5. Now imagine it's going to have a way nicer CPU, mainly because the PS5 Pro had the same CPU, just was 10% stronger due to like APU and power supply optimization, and the GPU being substantially better-ish, to the point where it can take the load off the CPU overall. So we're gonna probably, this is really basic. If you guys ever built a PC, this is like the most duh ever. Like, I'm not smart by saying this, but you're probably gonna have a better GPU, so the games will run better with better frames. That also has a little bit more video RAM, which would probably allow better things like ray tracing and AI in its own subset of the video RAM segment of it. Better CPU, obviously, because the current CPU hasn't been improved at all. A better APU, which optimizes everything in the console. Most likely more RAM, and most likely a stronger SSD, which would also, once again, improve the already fast instant loading times. And of course, with overall software improvements, with things like the PSSR or AMD's integration as well with their own AI substantive. We even saw and made a video this week discussing how they want to have FSR4, which is a big AI upscaler, which is, I think we used the example in that prior video. You have one AI that's really good at grass, one AI really good at, say, the sky and water. You combine them both from two different branches out, and it will make the overall environment nicer. That's very layman's terms. That's a good way to put it. So overall, nice news. So ray tracing performance is one of the many parts on the improved on the PS6, since it has been the word hot buzz in the game over the last few years. Ray tracing, as I'm sure you guys know, is very focused on like shadows, really focused on like lighting effects and like hair effects, and it's kind of utilizing AI and utilizing like the in-game engines to just make everything like actually come alive, you know, add more likeness to it, makes the world seem less stiff, etc. So this is just, it's the high level for this video, is the overall specs are kind of a big duh, most likely going to be a lot nicer. When it comes to the overall console itself, ray tracing with all the AI practicing we keep on mentioning a lot will be better, and just nice vibes. So PS6 will definitely have a lot of technical jumps diving into it, noticeably beyond the PS5 capabilities. For example, rumors suggest that the APU, the PS6 will provide a lower power consumption. Now that's a big one, mainly because if you have all of this stuff in your console, better GPU, CPU, etc., it usually will go and take more power, which also, it's not the most, but if you're a very avid gamer, means you're also spending more money. Not a vibe. Like, I mean, it's marginal at best, maybe an extra 10, 20 bucks. I'm not really sure. It depends on how much you game and play. And that's why even companies like Xbox are trying to go add features where overnight they would like turn off the consoles and update it like 3 in the morning, and then like basically just turn down the power consumption and almost try to use it with your own meters. Some people didn't like that because it's kind of like Xbox and Microsoft spy on your home. There's a really large subsection of people who do not like Microsoft. I don't really like Microsoft, to be fully honest, so I don't really like that vibe too as well. Although their idea is cool, they just try to push it more of like environmentally friendly, which it is. But, you know, they have these huge, massive data centers and all this type of stuff. So, like, they have their own problems going on. I don't know. I can understand why people don't usually like Microsoft for those ends. It just doesn't add up. It's like, well, anyway, you know, whatever. But anyway, they're going to have a lower power consumption, which is good for the console overall. Means you'll be a lot more optimized. Usually that also provides less heat as well. And also doesn't necessarily mean better graphics or anything else, which is true because the APU is more of like the central processing unit, like the big, like the brain of the console. But as well, if they're trying to go make everything more optimized, way less with a smaller console, better airflow, it just seems like it will be a more efficient console regardless. And there's going to be better graphics, better CPUs, better AI. It's a PlayStation 6. Like, that's going to be the point. So either way, there will be also an improvement where you have the console using less energy. And I think I also do agree that's not a bad thing at all. There's also a rumor that the Sony can use a 30 gigabyte or 40 gigabyte RAM for the console. And in comparison, the PS6 has 16 gigabytes of RAM. The PS5 Pro has 1 gigabyte of RAM. So this will be a visible improvement. That kind of went to my video RAM discussion too as well. Video RAM is probably more important than normal RAM at this point, because that's more of a, like a specific RAM subset on your GPU. And that means the GPU itself like has more side improvements, if that makes sense. It basically has the chance to actually like utilize graphics and make it nicer. A lot of these bigger GPUs right now, like the 5000 series, will have like 16 gigabytes of video RAM. And that's kind of what we want to focus on more. We haven't seen big leaks on that yet, but that's like the one thing I'm going to be like, oh my God, this is big whenever you see those initial numbers. Either way, though, having better RAM does allow the console, the OS to run a lot nicer, the video games to run a lot better. Just everything about this is all around going to be a lot nice. Like, there's actual improvement here. So I like this. This is a vibe. This is good stuff. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything on the PS6. If we get more information these upcoming days, I'll let you guys know. So please subscribe, and I appreciate you guys always so much for watching. And yeah, that's about it. Leave a like, your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys later on for some other brand new videos.